Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot. These are your predictions for December 2025. Keep in mind, it's a collective general reading. It is not individualized nor personalized to you. Messages may come through today that do not fully resonate. And if that happens, don't get upset. Just means that one message is meant for someone else watching. So take what fits, how it fits, leave what doesn't. Be sure to check out your other placements. Also, I want to thank you for being a Time Traveler member. I know that I had said that this reading would be exclusive to the members. However, through meditation, I felt really bad that the subscribers on my channel had the first 11 monthly predictions of the year, but then I would leave them in the last month of the year. So I thought that was a bit unfair. So you will be seeing this reading first, and then 48 hours later, it'll be made available like to the general public. But as of January 2026, the monthly prediction reading will only be available to subscribers, or I should say to members, Time Traveler members. So with all of that said, now let's begin. I'm tapping into the Cancer Collective now for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What does Cancer need to know about December 2025? What do they need to know about December 2025? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Okay, what do you need to know? In the heart of your spread, Queen of Swords, top row, the Sun, King of Cups, the Empress, flanking the Queen of Swords, the World, Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, Eight of Cups, and the Four of Cups. Bottom of the deck now. A little sneak peek now into January. Oh my God, we are literally heading into a new year. Magician, Five of Pentacles, Three of Cups, and King of Swords. I think it was your reading that I kind of gave a breakdown of how I see the king and queens of every of the sword suits. I'm pretty sure you came out as the Queen of Swords, and then also like the King of Swords. And so I see the escalation here continuing. I'm pretty sure it was your reading. So let me I'll get into that in a second, because I love what you're doing here in January. You're manifesting your way out of something that was difficult, whether that's financial or emotional hardship. December seems to be more like the processing of it and coming to terms with an ending and then a new beginning. But let me clarify real quick. I'm using the After Tarot deck. The cards in this deck have different images and therefore a different meaning. So we'll go through them as needed for your reading, but I just want to get them on the table first. Can we clarify this, please, for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements? I have definitely tapped into a group of you where your goal in December is to find your happiness, like to identify it for yourselves. Tell me more about this here. We are clarifying the Sun, King of Cups, the Empress, the World, the Queen of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, Eight of Cups, and the Four of Cups. One more shuffle here. Thank you. I don't know if the mic is picking up outside, the snow plows going by, but we had a lot of snow this morning. So if you can hear that, I apologize. The Sun is clarified by the Chariot. The King of Cups is clarified by the Hermit. The Empress is clarified by the Three of Wands. The World is clarified by the King of Pentacles. The Queen of Swords is clarified by the Ten of Wands. The Nine of Pentacles clarified by the Four of Wands. This is one of the best monthly readings I've done for you in a while. Ten of Swords clarified by Ten of Pentacles. Eight of Cups clarified by Four of Pentacles. Four of Cups clarified by the Page of Cups. Bottom of the deck, sneak peek now again into January. Eight of Wands, Six of Wands, Strength, and that leaves the start to the Queen. We go right back to the Queen of Swords. That's why I love tarot. Okay. Your overall energy for the month of December is Queen of Swords to the Ten of Wands. I cannot tell you how much I love this for you. The Ten of Wands in the After Tarot deck is someone who is holding on to the Ace of Wands, and they've let go of the Nine Wands. The hardship, the I have to put up with this, all the strife, all the burden, all the grief. It's like, I don't want to deal with that anymore. The sadness, the loss, the regrets. I'm clinging on to a new beginning. And that's because you can see things very clearly in the month of December. For those of you who didn't see that other reading, or if I'm mistaking your reading for another person's reading, I'll quickly break down how I see the queens and kings in every suit. Queens for me are hardened through their experiences. They become the Queen of Swords because what they've gone through, betrayal, lies, maybe people who try to intimidate them or stifle their ability to communicate or speak up for themselves. And after days, weeks, months, years of dealing with that, the Queen of Swords is forged. She now has great clarity. She's found her voice. She holds the sword of truth, the Ace of Swords. She can see bullshit, right? In the original Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, her head is above the clouds. She can see very clearly. She can effectively communicate her wants, needs, and desires. And she knows when someone is lying to her. She knows deception. She doesn't even have to say it. She doesn't even have to call them out. Just the way she looks at them. They know that she knows that they are full of shit. So something that you've gone through here, and again, for some of you, maybe it wasn't anything that deep, right? Maybe you didn't deal with that level of betrayal, but you're still are sharp. This is whether you're masculine or feminine. This is the energy of someone who has become very knowledgeable this year, closing out the year being way more knowledgeable than you were last year at this time. And that's because of what you've gone through. You've processed it. You can see things clearly. You're understanding what parts, like what went wrong in your life, what parts you contributed to, and what parts were not yours to carry. I think for some of you, you were carrying the emotional, maybe even mental trauma or burden of what other people did. I think you put it on yourselves. Like, it's my fault that this happened. I should have did this. I should have did that. And the Queen of Swords, this is really nice energy, especially like at the end of the year, for the month of like December, because this is like, I'm looking back and yeah, I'm acknowledging the parts that I played in something, but I'm also relieving myself of the burden because I'm acknowledging the parts I did not play. And so this is you taking ownership, again, for the parts you played in certain situations, environments, or connections that became burdensome or cumbersome or too heavy, and maybe even dismantled and left your life. But you're clearly seeing where it was not your fault. And that's a very sovereign energy to be in. I can own, my contribution, but I can also see clearly what was your fault and your fault and your fault. So you're relieving yourself of those burdens where maybe you, like I said, you were blaming yourself for things that went wrong. Not in the month of December. You're seeing things extraordinarily clear. And that's what the Queen of Swords would do. We have the Sun to the Chariot. In the month of December, you are in search of your 10 of Cups as well as your 10 of Pentacles. That's what the Sun card is. You're in search of warmth. You're in search of happiness. You're in search of abundance. You're in search of healing. And you want to overcome these hardships of your past. You are determined. The Chariot is one of the most determined cards in tarot. And so you are very determined. This is quite the combination here in Major Arcana cards of the tarot deck. And you're holding both of them together. So I'm determined to succeed. I'm determined to be happy. I'm determined to heal myself. I'm also determined to leave the past in the past. It's no longer mine to carry. King of Cups to the Hermit. Now, kings in tarot are a little bit different than queens. I always say queens are of the energy of the past and the present. I am who I am today because of what I've gone through in the past. The kings then, and it has nothing to do with masculine or feminine energy, it's just the way this, the way the suits work. It's just the progression of the suits. The kings now take the knowledge and experience of the queens, and now they know how to forge forward. And so I do believe many of you have done or will be doing in the month of December, this life in review, or at least an annual review here, looking back at what you've gone through, what you have survived, what legitimately were your contributions, and what legitimately weren't. I think you are releasing and relieving yourself of the burden. I think you took on a lot this year, Cancer. I think you blamed yourself for a lot of losses or people who left your life, whether by choice or by force. I think you carry the emotional brunt, and I see you here elevating. And because of that, you're now more emotionally balanced. If you're not feeling it at the time you're watching this reading, you will be feeling that in the month of December. There's great clarity as well as emotional balance, emotional harmony coming to the Cancerian collective. And then we move on to the Empress, to the Three of Wands. This is, again, now the knowledge of all four queens wrapped up into the Empress, and deciding I know enough, I've learned enough, I'm wise enough, I'm clear-minded enough, I'm stable enough, I'm emotionally regulated enough, and I'm fired up enough to move forward. The Three of Wands is the astrological placement of the Sun in Aries. And so you are now, I almost want to say excitingly, moving forward into the future. I don't feel like I've tapped into a group of you where now you're waiting for life to happen to you. No, you're waiting to go out there and like find life. We have the World to the King of Pentacles. Again, I love all the King energy here. Now, the one thing we don't have is the King of Wands. But if I were to clarify January, I'm pretty sure behind that King of Swords, there probably is a King of Wands. Oh my God, this is why I love tarot. So I'll get to that in a second. So we see you here again in King energy, something heavy, you've been holding on to for a long time, you are releasing with that world card. And again, it could be mental stress, mental fatigue, worries, doubts, fears, insecurities, emotional burden, even just grief. And it doesn't mean that you don't miss or love the person who left your life, again, whether by choice or force, or they departed this world because they passed away. Whatever that loss was for you, you held on to it. I think you're holding on to the lessons. Others of you are holding on to the memories. But the important part here is you're no longer holding on to the grief or the blame or the shame of whatever transpired this year. Nine of Pentacles to the Four of Wands. You are literally jumping the timeline. You go from Three of Wands, taking action on your own behalf, to Four of Wands, literally changing now your destiny. And you're doing it from a place of being absolutely grounded with yourself, focused on your finances, nurturing yourself, your pets, your plants, your home. This is a very solid and steady Cancerian collective, forged through fire. Ten of Swords to the Ten of Pentacles. Again, all of that enormous weight that you've been carrying, you're releasing. That Ten of Pentacles. I almost feel like this year you got pushed to the edge, pushed to the brink. It's like God tested you and threw a lot at you, probably in the last year or two. This year was probably the most significant for you. But I see you releasing that. It's like, we're done holding this, and you've been holding on to this for a long time. And here we see the release. And the After Tarot deck, the Four of Pentacles is actually greeted by the Grim Reaper, if you will. And so whatever you are holding on to, again, the pain, the trauma, the loss, the shame, there's a full release here. Eight of Cups to that Four of Pentacles. This is a very freeing energy. You go from Four of Cups to Page of Cups to Four of Cups of, I almost want to say, feeling beaten by life in some respect. And it doesn't mean that you showed up this way for the whole 365 days of this year. But I think for a majority of you, a good portion of this year was possibly missing some new opportunities that presented themselves to you, or were out there for the taking or the creating. And I think it's because life really knocked you down. But I think you needed this period. I think, and you might look back and say, no, really, Jen, I didn't deserve what happened to me this year. But you did. These were lessons that you had to endure in order for you to grow. And you're growing now. You're starting small. Page of Cups. All those little Ace of Cups that you missed out on, you're now more receptive to them. So you're closing out the month of December saying, I am officially leaving everything in 2025. I'm not taking the emotional burdens, the loss, the grief, the pain, the shame with me. I know what roles I played in all of that, and I certainly know what roles I did not play. And I'm not going to hold on to the blame or shame that belongs to someone else. The guilt or accountability that belongs to someone else. That's not mine to carry. I've carried it long enough. This is as clear-minded as I have seen you in quite some time. And then when we shift into January, we see you Magician to the Five of Pentacles to the Three of Cups. You're manifesting your way out of, and I don't know what that is for you, that Five of Pentacles, emotional lack, financial lack, emotional poverty, financial poverty, but you're manifesting your way. For some of you, you're just manifesting happiness. Whatever it is that you are manifesting your way out of, it's coming to you, because now the King of Swords is taking action. So where December is a little bit more reflective in nature, January seems to be, now I'm ready to move forward. Now I want to get into that Chariot, right? And I want to move forward. I'm ready to take action on my own behalf. Let me clarify this just a little bit more for you in January, because we have the King of Cups, emotionally balanced, the King of Pentacles, very solid and grounded, the King of Swords now wanting to act on your own behalf. I would love to see the King of Wands. He was a little deep there in the deck, so maybe for some of you, the actual ball doesn't start rolling until March or April. That's quite possible. Can you tell me a little bit more about this here for Cancer, that Magician, Five of Pentacles, and the Three of Cups? And maybe because January, February, March is more of a planning stage for you. That could be it for some of you. Tell me more about this here. One more shuffle. Thank you. You have the Nine of Cups, the Ten of Wands, and the Hierophant. Bottom of the deck, the Emperor. That's even better than the Empress. So the King of Wands is here now. Look at that. The Emperor, the Page of Wands, and the King of Wands. So I do think in the new year, you're coming out of 2025 with this great clarity. And then there seems to be here that Nine of Wands, the Ten of Wands, and the Hierophant. Even in your deck, the individual is walking away from the Nine Wands and only holding the Ace of Wands. So I think that you're realizing this in the month of January, that your dreams are limitless. You can achieve any goal that you want. Nothing is holding you back anymore. It's like you've been relieved of all of those burdens. It's like they've been washed away. But they didn't just magically wash away. You worked through them, you processed them, and you decided to leave it all behind in 2025. And then you start taking action on your own behalf. You have the Emperor, Page of Wands, and the King of Wands. So I think for a lot of you, that was the feeling I was getting, was maybe like February, March, possibly April. Here we have Aries season, very distinctly shown in all three of these cards. So I think by Aries season, you are moving forward. So maybe the first couple of months is just you planning what this Ace of Pentacles will be. There we go. Page of Swords, acquiring the knowledge or information you need about these new goals that you're setting for yourself. And we see you moving forward. 8 of Wands, 6 of Wands, and the Strength card. Again, a lot of fire energy here. A lot of like moving forward towards your wish fulfillment, because you have seen things very clearly. Queen of Swords, Two of Swords. I love it in the After Tarot deck. There's no decision to make. You're undecided. You're no longer in suspension mode. Look at this. No longer holding yourself back, because in the After Tarot deck, the person is slaying the doubts, fears, and anxieties, the dragons that keep you up at night. And you are coming out of that Five of Pentacles. So whatever this is for you, again, financial loss, emotional loss, maybe both, you are figuring out a way or a plan or a strategy here, January, February, March, maybe, and then you're charging forward. And so there, whatever you are moving towards in this Ace of Pentacles, it looks like you're ferociously, I just heard, ferociously going after it come Aries season. And it's yours, because we see you going from Five of Pentacles in the before tarot deck to Five of Pentacles in the after tarot deck. So it's like you're literally moving towards something that either will increase your emotional well-being or your financial well-being. For some of you, it could possibly even be relocation in the new year. But again, I just see January, February, possibly March being more of that planning period for you. Let's get you some oracle cards. We'll close it out with Kippers, and we'll get you an I Ching now. This is literally your best reading that I've done, because some of your readings have been really hard. A little woes me, a little pity party-ish. And look, I've been there. Oh boy, have I been there. So I'm not criticizing you or shaming you or making fun of you, because I know all too well what that's like. But you seem to be pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. I think you've been doing it all along. You just maybe didn't realize you were doing it. Let's get an oracle card here, please, for each row for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus for December. Thank you. Thank you. And one more here. Thank you. Yep, there you go. So your first row, my darling, you have clean energy, and I think that's what you're doing. You're cleansing your energetic space. Some of you could physically be doing it. Maybe you're burning white sage or Palo Santo or something like that. But I think you're cleaning your energy, like, of all of that, I don't want to say karmic, but karmic baggage that you've been holding on to that really wasn't yours to carry, or you're realizing in December you no longer need to carry it. And then you have your releasing. There you go, releasing resentments. And I think it's about that Five of Pentacles, because it says releasing resentments about money, but I always take it as like releasing resentments about that Five of Pentacles. So again, whether it was emotional or psychological, or financial, I think you're releasing the resentment of it. And then your next card is Raise. So you are literally almost like you're being spiritually promoted here, or stepping into a new version of yourself. I want to be mindful and let you know that that card there at the bottom of the deck says, ask for your needs to be met. So I would continue to pray to, your spirit guides and Archangel Michael and your ancestors and your God and whomever it is that you worship or you believe in, as you need things. It doesn't have to be a formal declaration. Just ask for help. We have free will. Sometimes we think, God knows exactly what we want, but sometimes we need to ask. I mean, there's 9 billion people on the planet. Sometimes we need to say, hey, God, don't forget about me. I really could use this today. I really could use this in the next month or two. Remember, they're not, I always say, like, they're not magicians. They're not going to instantly give you within 5 minutes what you need. So be realistic in, the time frame. I would really like this by this. Can you help me achieve this by this time? And I think you'll start to see that a lot of what you're asking for comes in. Just remember to work in concert, in unison. God, I'm working on this, but I really need your strength or courage or some divine intervention to be successful with it. But if they see, I always say they, but, if they see you putting in the effort, I do believe that what we want comes to us. But don't be afraid to ask, okay? One card here for Cancer for that top row. Okay. I'm telling you, somebody here has a close tie to someone in the other world. Awakening presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. And that's interesting because we have that cleanse energy card. So maybe some of you do want to clear your energetic space. Maybe you do want to burn some white sage or palo santo, or, I have like a black obsidian stone at every entrance of my house. I have 5 doors on the first floor. I have a little stone next to each of the doors. Maybe you just want to cleanse your energy, and that's a good thing to do, particularly at the end of the year. We're looking towards the new year. We're relieving ourselves of this burden, and the guilt and shame and all that. Yeah, leave it behind and cleanse your space. And you can look up different ways online on how to do that. Your next card is magic manifesting. I told you, ask for what it is that you need. Your dreams, visions, and goals are becoming reality. Stay focused and ask. Stay focused and ask. And then you have white eagle ancestor spirit. Connect to your lineage. A family wound or pattern can be healed now. I never do this in this reading, and I hope the other signs, the cross watchers that watch, don't get mad. But I feel like someone here watching has a loved one that like I keep feeling connected to. I don't usually get those messages, but I just wanted, someone watching needs this. Don't take it if it's not your message. Don't disregard everything else that I said, because this is not for you. If this is for you, you'll know it's for you. Okay. Can I get messages of closure for whoever needs it? Whoever's watching this video. I might do a separate video for all 12 signs using this deck, but we'll see. Sometimes I invite some not so nice energies into my home when I do that. So I'll see. Maybe I'll do that in January for everyone, or at the end of December, so we can finally like say goodbye or get our final messages. Okay. All right. Closing messages for anyone who's watching. Thank you. Anything else for those who are watching? Not all of these messages will be for you. Only take the ones that pertain to you. That's a lot. Wow. Anything else for those who are watching? Thank you. It's a lot. I should have kept my eyes open so I could have seen what came out first, because I don't know if some of these are group messages. So again, you know who's departed, who you're still connected to. So only take what resonates, okay? Don't force the message here. The scents and blinking lights are me. Someone watching is smelling things, and that happened to me for a couple of years after my grandmother passed. I would smell lilacs. I don't particularly like lilacs. Even when I buy candles or detergent or deodorant, I don't get the lilac scents, particularly because I don't want to remember her, because it still is hard for me 30 years later. But every now and then, even in this home, I walk through it and I will catch a whiff of lilac, and I don't have like, it's not like I have my windows open, there's lilacs outside. So some of you are picking up a scent that's like not natural to your home, right? It's not something you're creating or inviting in or spraying. So if that's happening to you, or you have some blinking lights in your home, which if you've seen my videos before, it does happen up here. Yes, the scents and the blinking lights are me. I wasn't thinking. So maybe someone said maybe the last time you spoke to this person, they said something out of turn, or they did something out of turn, or something that offended you. They want you to know they weren't thinking, they weren't in their clear mind. And sometimes that happens. I'm being okay. I guess they were very ill. Maybe they could have been heavily medicated or heavily induced, something like that. They may have said something that you didn't understand, or something that you found to be offensive. They weren't thinking. I'm going through my life review. I just got a bunch of spiritual goosebumps on that one. So someone this would be for someone who recently passed, last couple of days, last couple of weeks. Someone is going through their life review, what they've done on this earth. I shouldn't have did what I said. This again, I had my eyes closed during the shuffle. So maybe this came out with I wasn't thinking. I shouldn't have said I should have said what I didn't say. I should have said what I didn't say. I remember when my grandfather passed, I said to my dad, did he love me? And he said, of course he did. And I said, I never heard him say it. So maybe there's something like that where someone who's passed on, you wish they would have said something and they didn't say it. So there are some regrets here. I'm sorry I left while you were young. So for some of you, you have a family member who left when you were very, very young. This is just an apology that they weren't there for you. I didn't mean what I said. I think that goes back to the I wasn't thinking card. So someone spoke out of turn. Maybe that was the last time you spoke to them, or something they said still sits with you. They didn't mean it. You can let it go now. I care too much about other people's opinions. So it's possible for some of you, this person did not make a life choice or a life change that you had hoped that they would make. And maybe it was because they were too concerned of other people's opinions and they weren't bold or brave enough to move in a particular direction. I'm sorry I criticized you. It's interesting. I pulled the 3 of Cups card out. So when I said that, so maybe for some of you, this person criticized you for going out or partying too much or hanging out with your friends. That's quite possible. I lived my life through you. So for some of you, I feel like this is more of a parental message here. Maybe you had a parent that didn't experience much through life, but they vicariously lived it through you. For some of you, that could have been very daunting on you, where maybe a lot of your decisions early on were steered by this particular parent because they couldn't do things on their own. They literally lived their life through you, like not in a fond way, more of like a controlling way. So maybe for some of you, like you were in gymnastics or softball or baseball, and you really didn't want to be, but it's because your parent wished that they could have done that when they were your age. So yes, for some of you, there's a message like that here. I was wrong. I am sorry. Someone needs to hear that. Please forgive yourself. So I think that's what you're doing here for those of you where you've carried this burden for so long. Again, the shame, the grief, the guilt, the blame. It wasn't your fault. And at the bottom of the deck, it's the best closing message. I wish you love and happiness. Okay. Let's close it out with some kippers and we'll get you your I Ching. I don't know why that hit me so hard, but I felt like, oof. I'm not a Cancer. I mean, I have one of my houses, obviously, is Cancer, right? We have all 12 signs in our birth chart, but I don't think I have any actual planets in Cancer, but oof, that one hit me hard. Okay. I think that was a general message for all of you watching. Okay. All right, let's close it out. 2 kippers and then the I Ching. 2 kippers. Rebecca. Is there a Rebecca? If there's a Rebecca watching, I don't know. They love you. Mom loves you. 2 cards here. Rebecca, Becca, Becky. Maybe it's your child's name or a sibling's name. Maybe that's a message you need to pass on to someone called Rebecca. I don't know a Rebecca. I don't think I ever knew a Rebecca. Okay. 2 cards here for that final row. Oof. I think it's the first time I ever cried in like 1900 videos that I did on YouTube. Oh, geez, Cancer, leave it to you. The water sign, right? Okay, top row, my darlings. We have message and family room came out in the reverse. I think you're leaving behind that pain. I think you've been holding it in for a long time. For some of you, it has to do with family or someone that you treated like family or that you welcomed into your home. I think this is what you're releasing and moving on from. And it doesn't have to be the actual person or the family or the connection itself. I think you're leaving behind the emotional or mental toll that that connection or those connections had on you. The Lovers and great fortune. You're making the choice to boldly move forward. Remember, I said towards the 10 of Cups as well as the 10 of Pentacles. And that is a choice. Lover's card is a choice. That is the choice you're making. Jeez. Oh, and then you have occupation and you have main male. You are becoming the main male or main female of your life, and you're making it your job to be successful in 2026. Let's get you your I Ching now. Whew. Okay. I Ching now for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. Closing message here for Cancer for December 2025. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that now for all 12 zodiac signs and pull tarot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I'll try. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have arguing, card number 6, truth and confidence, vigilant and centered, good fortune, and an ending. I think you're putting an ending to the arguing. And the arguing for me reminds me of like the 5 of Wands, which is a lot to do with like discord. And sometimes that's internal discord, all that internal grief that you've been holding on to. Things are not as they should be. And so you argue for what you need, sustenance, to be believed, or for justice. But in defiant frustration, the creative flow is blocked. You are now opening your heart to the potential for change and a higher perspective. You can consult with someone wiser or someone who's outside of the conflict. What are you arguing for? If you can't win this one, what else can you do? I think that's what you're doing. I think you're no longer arguing with yourself. I think you're also choosing not to argue with any individuals. December 6th may be an important date for some of you. I'll pull a tarot card for you on that. Can I get another message here for Cancer? Thank you. That one clearly wanted to be seen. Lasting, card number 32, creating success. Constancy bears fruit. The fruitful have a direction to go. I do see you moving in a new direction. Keeping tirelessly to your own path, whatever landscapes it travels through, it is not a mistake. What lasts bears fruit, not because you arrive at some final destination, but because through all of the changes, you persevered in your intent, always finding ways to make it real. What inspiration are you making real in your daily life? How can you continue on the same path even as you adapt to these new changes? And who will you become by persevering through this? I know who you're going to become, an entirely new Cancer collective. That's card number 32. Reduces to 5, and it's change. I'm going to pull you a card for that December 6th. There could be, you might have this need to just have this emotional release. On or around December 6th. We have a full moon in Gemini on the 4th. Depending on where you live in the world, it could be the 5th. So it's possible for some of you, you are releasing and letting go of that resentment. Some of you may just want to have a good final cry to kind of wrap it all up and let it go. Can I get a card here for December 6th here? One more shuffle. Thank you. You have the devil. So yeah, for some of you, that's what it is. It's the releasing of something toxic. Now, again, could be a person, a place or thing. Certainly could be, but I think it's more the toxicity that has been building up inside of you because you've been holding on to, like I said, guilt, shame, pain, even resentment. I think you're letting it go once and for all in that full moon in Gemini. That is what I have for you, Cancer. Those are your messages. You get to see them first as a time traveler member. I will release this like to the public in 48 hours, but rest assured after as of January 2026, these monthly readings will be exclusively to members. And I thank you once again for becoming one. I think I'm going to go outside and ground myself and shovel a bit before I move on to Leo and Virgo and Libra's messages today. But that is what I have for you. I do wish you well and strength for the month of December. If you're celebrating any holidays, I hope that you have a great holiday season. Until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.